Hey Ryan,
Hey Jonathan, how are you?
pretty good. We're back again to chat a little bit more about AI and Gen AI, which is sort of a hot topic right now. It's funny, after we published our last kind of video, questions started to come in, which is good, right? That's people need to be thinking about this. It's sort of like a hot, hypey topic, and it's like, okay, like where are the use cases for real? What are the things you need to know? Kind of gotchas and sort of opportunities, right? And I think one of the most important questions that we kind of get is like, how is Gen AI and AI are sort of newer terms. AI has been around in terms of a term for a long time, but Gen AI is a new term. How does this relate to things like NLP and machine learning? Like, what's the difference between these things? And I think the fundamental thing people have to understand is a lot of these different buzzwords have more to do with use case than they do with the actual underlying technology, right? I don't know. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I think as you look through the market, and it's happened in all kinds of other spaces, everyone's trying to find some new buzz, right? I mean, I
Yeah,
worked
yeah,
in the AR space for a long time, and it went AR and then XR and MR, right? Everyone trying to create some buzzword, and I'd say that's the same with Gen AI, right?
yeah,
With Gen AI, people have kind of defined it as, hey, here's a prompt, type in something into this prompt and things are going to happen, right? Picture
yeah,
gets created, or, some answer to your question is going to be there. And I
right.
think the key for Gen AI is really that interface, right? Where you're typing in a prompt. Previously, these algorithms that underlie all of these systems, whether it's, something that's GPT-3 or the upcoming Bedrock Titan models from AWS. All of those are NLP models
Yep.
that for most of the time previous, you had to be a programmer or a data scientist or somebody that knew Python that could
Yep.
write the Python scripts and then put the prompt in the Python script
Yeah.
into your trained model and get an answer.
For those of you in the audience who don't know what NLP is, natural language processing, right? That's what that stands for. And so, yeah, right. And to me, you're right. It's the interfaces and the use cases, right? And even the use cases were there before, but the interfaces sort of enabled new use cases for people. And when you slap an interface, whether, by the way, that is a visual user experience user interface or even an API, right? Because there's, like you said, there's developers out there who are strong programmers. They're great, but they maybe don't have the experience and background in data science or machine learning to really be able to take advantage of these things without, having to learn new stuff, which they can do. But it's a heck of a lot easier just to be like, hey, here's an API endpoint, send it a prompt, and you get back a response, right? And so that's where we've seen a lot of stuff happen. And bigger models or more specialized models or improved training, all of these things have sort of kind of contributed to getting to where we are now. But fundamentally, what we're saying is Gen AI, machine learning, natural language processing, all these things are sort of in the same world and are using the same basic technology, not basic technology, the same fundamental technology, right? Models to do things, right? And yeah, so that's basically that question answered, I think. But
Well, I'll add one more piece where, there were some specialized systems out there. AWS was actually one of the first ones, if you want to call things Gen AI, where with Amazon QuickSight Q, they
yeah,
had the
that's
prompt where
true.
you could type in, hey, what happened in blah, blah, blah. And as long as you had the data to back it, right, it would make a graph for you,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
And to me, that gets exactly to sort of use cases, right? Like, to me, the most exciting present use cases for Gen AI are things like that, right? Where it is a specialized use case. General purpose use cases are hard. They're really, really, really hard. And the systems today do a really great job of sort of hallucinating into general use cases and can sometimes produce astounding results, right? But it's a sometimes thing. And you also can get into sort of risky kind of situations. That doesn't mean these problems aren't at least, somewhat solvable or inherently solvable even. It's just like, you got to look at where we are today. But if you look at something like Code Whisperer from Amazon, right? That is a perfect use case, right? I am thrilled about that because as a programmer and as a CTO of an R&D organization that has a bunch of programmers who are writing code and infrastructure as code, and that is a perfect use case for like, hey, let's accelerate here. It's like code completion, kind of on performance enhancing drugs, which is phenomenal. You can ask it, please, iterate over this collection and convert the, CSV content into whatever, to an Excel, and it'll just do it, right? Will it work? Maybe, but it'll at least get you down the path. And more often than not, it will work.